Hi, good morning. So, today we are discussing about BDD Cucumber framework, how you have to explain in the interviews we are discussing. So, BDD means behavior driven development. So, we are going to discuss about BDD Cucumber framework. So, let us discuss about BDD. So, in BDD Cucumber framework, the mainly there are three components are available. One is feature file, and one is step definition.java file, and third one is testrunner.java class file. So, under SRC test resources there is a folder, features folder. So, under that features folder we will create a feature file which contains a feature file. So, let us go to the feature file. So, the test case objective or behavior is defined in a feature file. Test case objective or behavior is defined in a feature file under SRC test resources. So, simply we can say a feature file contains some set of steps to achieve particular test objective. So, every step can be developed by using keywords as given, when, then, and, but keywords. So, this language we can call it as a jerkin language. Okay. So, a feature file contains some set of steps. So, in a feature file we will write background key section, scenario or scenario outline. So, like that each and every step in a feature file we can use the keywords as given, when, and then, but keywords. So, this language we are calling as a jerkin language. So, like that scenario and scenario outline steps are defined in a feature file. So, the first paragraph we are completely discussed about feature file. Now, let us go to the implementation part. So, for every feature, so we have to implement for every keyword, for every step we have to implement, we have to write corresponding method in the step definition.java file. See here, for each step of the keyword in the feature file, corresponding methods will be implemented under step definition.java file. So, under SRC test Java, we will create a step definition.java file. So, that step definition.java file which contains for every keyword, for every step of the keyword, corresponding methods will be available under step definition.java file. Okay. Once keywords are implemented, we want to execute that feature file. So, to execute the scenarios, to execute that feature files, we can use testrunner.java class file. Okay. So, this testrunner.java class file which contains @cucumber options. Okay. In the @cucumber options, we can define what are the feature file that we want to execute. So, do we want to execute nationality.feature or do we want to execute skills.feature? So, those things, such type of configuration settings, it can be defined in the @cucumber options. So, simply we can say in a feature file we will write background key section, scenario and scenario outline which contains some set of steps to define particular test objective, and every step will be implemented under step definition.java file, and to execute the scenarios we can use testrunner.java class file. So, now let us go to the next slide. Okay. So, coming back to see here feature files under SRC test resources there is a features folder. So, here we are discussing about nationality.feature file. See here so a scenario. So, a scenario steps can be executed only once. So, this is a scenario, all these steps can be executed only once for a particular set of input values. See here I am logging with username and password as admin123, and I am going to create a skills record in Orange HRM application, the record details as Java and Java description. So, the set of steps which can be executed for a particular set of input values means all these steps can be executed only once. So, a scenario steps can be executed only once for a particular predefined input values. So, like that. So, generally a scenario which can follow say background key section. So, here we are writing feature. So, what is the objective of the feature? So, here we need to write create nationality record in the Orange HRM application. So, that is the feature we want to automate, and background key section which contains some common reusable steps. So, launching of browser, launching of application URL. So, such common keywords we can write in the background key section, and by following that background key here we are writing scenario. So, here I am writing and user enters username as admin and password as admin123, then go to the skills page and add skills name as this one and click on logout and close browser. So, this set of steps are defining to create particular test objective as creation of skills record in the Orange HRM application. So, simply we can describe scenario means a feature file contains a scenario, some set of steps can be executed only once for particular test objective. Okay. So, like that, so here we are defining about the background key section. It contains common reusable steps which can be executed for every scenario. So, it contains common reusable steps which can be executed first. So, these steps can be executed first for every scenario. So, that means in a feature file we can write multiple scenarios. So, this scenario is related to skills record, and we can write another scenario in the same feature file, creation of nationality record steps also we can write. So, before executing every scenario, these background key steps can be executed. That is why the background key section we can specify like this. So, it contains common reusable steps which can be executed first for every scenario. Simply background key section means it contains common reusable steps. So, now let us go to the next slide. Scenario outline. So, a feature file, in a feature file we can also write scenario outline. So, in scenario outline steps can be executed multiple times for it can. So, this set of steps which can be executed multiple times. So, here the parameter name is nationality record. So, these all steps can be executed when the parameter is Indian 211, and these all steps can be executed again when the parameter is Indian 212, and again all these steps can be executed when the parameter is 213. So, simply we can define a scenario outline steps can be executed multiple times for each. So, it can be executed multiple times and for each step of input data as defined in the example section. So, like that scenario outline can be defined. So, in scenario outline the steps can be executed multiple times for each step of input data as defined in the example section. So, like that scenario outline it will works, whereas scenario means the set of steps which can be executed only once. That is the difference between scenario and scenario outline. So, now let us go to the next slide. And coming back to the data tables concept. Okay, a feature file, here it contains a feature file which contains some scenario. So, each step which contains some parameter names and values. Here it contains some parameter names. So, this is the step, and here it contains nationality as the parameter name, and it contains these values. Okay. Here there is no example section. So, each step contains predefined input values. So now let us discuss about data tables concept. So, to achieve parameterization we can use data tables. Okay. To achieve parameterization we can use data tables concept in Cucumber. So, in a feature file for a particular step, so in a feature file for a particular step we can write parameters, and corresponding input values, and here also we are writing parameter and corresponding input values. And to get those input values, suppose I want to get these input values in my step definition.java file. So, to get those input values in my step definition.java file, we have to create data table object. See, here I am creating data table object. Here I am creating data table object at the method level. So, at the method level, I have to create data table object in order to get these parameter values. In the step definition.java class file, I have at the corresponding method, I am creating a data table object, and to get those I am trying to get those parameter values in my step definition.java class file. See, here I am writing list of map string comma string data table object is equal to data 1 is equal to data table object dot as maps of string dot class comma string dot class, and string username is equal to, so this is the username is equal, so here I am writing local variable name, and data 1 dot get of 0 dot get of parameter name, and data 1 dot get of 0 dot get of, so whatever parameter name is there I am writing here. So, I am retrieving those parameter values like that, and after that I can use these input values. So, like that I can use these parameter values in my send keys. So, like that I can able to achieve the parameterization. So, how this scenario it will works. So, I open Orange HRM website, and I can navigate to login application, and I can be navigated to admin and admin 123, and after that I created a nationality record as Indian 261. Okay, and in the same session I created a nationality record as Indian 271, and in the same session itself I created a nationality record as Indian 281. So, this is the record. So, these are the steps can be executed. So, this is the step can be executed 3 times. Okay. So, this is the particular step which can be executed only this is the particular step which can be executed 3 times, because here this parameter contains 3 input values. Okay. So, this particular step only it is executing 3 times, and after executing this step, so user logouts and he will be logged out from the application. So, we can simply describe about data table. So, to achieve parameterization we can use data tables. So, in a feature file for a particular step we can write parameters and corresponding input values, and to get those input values we are creating a data table object at method level, and we are creating data list of map string comma string data 1 is equal to data table object dot as maps of string dot class comma string dot class, and I am getting those parameter values like data 1 dot get of 0 dot get of parameter name, data 1 dot get of 0 dot get of parameter name as password. So, like that I am able to retrieve the input values of a particular parameters like this. Okay. So, like that we can able to achieve parameterization concept in data tables. So, the difference between scenario outline and data tables we have to discuss now. In scenario outline, okay, the entire steps, all steps which can be executed multiple times, but in data table only this particular step can be executed 3 times, but here in data tables all steps are not executing every time. Okay. So, that is the main difference between scenario outline and data tables. Okay. So, now let us go to the next concept, hooks. Hooks is a common snippet of code. Hooks is a common snippet of code. See, under my step definition package.java class file there is a hooks.java class file. So, public class hooks.java class file which contains @ before annotation tag and @ after annotation tags. So, hooks is a common snippet of code which can be executed globally, before and after for every scenario. Okay. So, in a features file, so under src test resources if there are 2-3 feature files are there, okay, and it contains multiple scenario. For every scenario this is the before annotation tag part will be executed, and after completion of your scenario execution this is the @ after annotation tag part will be executed. So, we can say hooks is a common snippet of code which can be executed globally for every scenario, which can be executed globally before and after for every scenario. Okay. So, like that we can use hooks concept as well in Cucumber. And coming back to so to execute the scenarios, we are using testrunner.java class file. Under testrunner.java class file, which contains @cucumber options. See here, see this is my testrunner.java class file, which contains @cucumber options. See here, this is the @cucumber options. So these are nothing but configurations, which feature files that you want to execute. Suppose if you want to execute particular feature file, / you need to write nationality.feature file. If you want to execute skills.feature file, / you can write skills.feature file. So whichever feature file that you want to execute, you can specify here. And coming back to glue. Glue means where this feature file steps has been implemented, under which package name. So glue means the feature file steps can be implemented under particular package name. Under SRC test Java, these steps can be implemented under a specific package. So wherever steps are implemented, that package name we have to specify. Okay. And coming back to plugin section, which can describes what kind of reporting part that we have to generate. See here, it can generate Cucumber HTML reports, and here we can also specify extend reports HTML plugin. Once test scripts got executed, so the test evidences and execution output reports, which can be generated in Cucumber HTML report, or if you are defining extend reports, so the output reports can be generated in extend report.html page. So like that we can able to see the output reports under target folder. And coming back to the tags section, tags means for every scenario we can define the scenario is belongs to so and so group. You can define the scenario is belongs to @smoke test, the scenario is belongs to @regression test group, and the scenario is belongs to @sanity test. So you can define the scenario belongs to particular group of test case. And if you want to execute a particular group of scenarios, you have to specify tags is equal to @smoke test. So you can execute those specific combination of scenarios, particular group of scenarios. So like that these configuration settings can be defined under testrunner.java class file. So in the latest framework of Cucumber, instead of writing @cucumber options in the testrunner.java class file, we are writing under JUnit platform.properties. So the same settings are defining in a properties file in the latest framework of Cucumber 5. Under properties, which contains, see here Cucumber plugin, what kind of reports it has to generate, and where the steps are implemented, the package name we have to specify, and which feature file that you want to execute, you can specify here. And so these are the parameters we can define in JUnit platform.properties file. So now let's discuss more about @cucumber options. So here dry run is equal to true. It checks if all steps have the step definition. So you can write dry run is equal to true. So it checks if all steps have the step definition. Features. So you have to set the path of the feature files, which feature file that you want to execute. And glue, it defines the path of the step definition package name. And tags, which type of what kind of group of scenarios that you want to execute, you have to specify the tag names. Monochrome is equal to true. It displays the console output in a much readable way. So in the console output, so the we can able to read the content properly if you are writing monochrome is equal to true. Format, so what all reports formats to use, so we can specify that one, true or false. And strict is equal to true. This is very important. So strict is equal to true. It will, so the program, the Cucumber testrunner.java execution will be failed if there is no undefined or any pending steps are not implemented. Okay, so the program execution will be failed, and the system it will suggest these are the unimplemented steps. So you have to navigate and you have to implement corresponding steps. So like that @cucumber options can be defined in the testrunner.java class file. So now let's go to the summarization points. So the BDD cucumber framework, whenever you go for any of the interviews, you have to talk about these things. Feature file which contains some set of steps to achieve particular test objective. So the test objective can be written in a scenario or in a scenario outline. So scenario can be executed, a set of steps can be executed for a particular set of input values, and the set of steps which can be executed only once. And whereas scenario outline, the set of steps which can be executed multiple times for each set of input data. So in scenario outline, all steps can be executed for each set of input data as defined in the example section. And background key section. So in a feature file, if it contains multiple scenario or scenario outline, background key which contains some common reusable steps which can be executed first for every scenario or scenario outline. So we can say it contains common reusable steps which can be executed first for every scenario. And each and every steps are implemented under step definition.java file. See, for every keyword corresponding methods will be implemented. And testrunner.java file, it is used to execute your feature files. So which contains @cucumber options. So testrunner.java class file simply we can use to execute the scenarios, just you need to run testrunner.java class file. And we can able to achieve parameterization in Cucumber by using data tables concept or scenario outline. Because in data tables, for every step you are specifying corresponding parameter and input values. Whereas in scenario outline, the parameter values are defining under example section. Okay, so here in data tables, the if a particular step, if it contains multiple parameter values, only that particular step can be executed multiple times. Whereas scenario outline, all steps are executed multiple times. So like that, we can able to achieve parameterization in Cucumber. And coming back to hooks. Hooks is a common snippet of code which can be globally executed before and after scenarios. Okay, prior to background key section, the hooks before annotation tag part will be executed. Okay, once after executing of your scenario, after annotation tag part will be executed from hooks.java. So simply we can define hooks is a common snippet of code which can be globally executed before and after for every scenario. So you have to talk about these components. So these are the main three components in BDD Cucumber framework. So whenever you go for any of the interview, you need to talk about all this terminology. Okay. Hope this video which can help you for Cucumber framework interviews. Thank you guys. We will meet you in the next session. అయిపోయింది